would never let
Fire
this
would never
go.
let them be late.
Not a single time where they issued a delay of game warning with Inspired in the jungle chair. Where was Armao? He was the delay of game.
Ooh.
So,
So our takes are crumbling. You know, Armao went from the king, and now he's just another guy.
as much as I'm joking, there is a hint of seriousness. I am now a little bit concerned about LYON going into Mexico City, and I still think this is a very winnable series for Sentinels. It's felt like all of these series had or have been winnable for teams playing against LYON without Inspired, but the individual performances of these LYON guys has just been so amazing. Dhokla's the best top laner in the league in lane, which I think, again, he was last game. Saint was super far ahead of the curve of the game on the Syndra, but this last game, I am willing to kind of shake it off if you're LYON, because they were like 6,000 gold ahead, and it was a bounty extravaganza that Rahel got from the Baron play, which he then went on to carry the game from. And that's a bit niche to be able to recreate that if you're Sentinels.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, I think they played it out very, very well. And it is funny because I talked about the Varus game from Impact where he just relentlessly fed and then won the game. And, you know, he has this like 100% Varus win rate. And now he brings out Kled and he wins on the Kled.
He does.
And it's so funny to me because it does not look like he is comfortable in these champions at all. But then you look at the win rate and yeah, he won again.
I mean, Impact has probably, I'm going to go with this stat. I made it up, but I'm sure it's true. The most wins of all time after falling 30 CS down.
Completely unverifiable,
almost
but
guaranteed.
I'm going to agree.
It's
We're
like
gonna
20 or
ship it.
30. I think even back to his first title on Team Liquid, I remember he was like, they just blind pick him Maokai top into like some days Gnar. He'd go down 50 and they 3-0. And that, I just feel like he's the best player with a gargantuan goal deficit in the world. He's so good at it.
They're orchestrating it to get him into that
It's not
deficit.
intentional.
Yeah.
He's going to prefer to play without the gargantuan goal deficit,
No,
but he's
that's
good
his
at
comfort zone.
it. That's his comfort
He's
zone.
like, what is happening? I'm not
They're
under my tower.
investigating. Leo is investigating.
What do I do? I'm
Leo.
at his tower. Do I hit it?
The stats for Leo, request. If 30 isn't true, keep trying out the numbers until it's true. Like, I just want to know what the CS
You don't want to
difference
know.
is.
You just want to fudge the numbers.
I just want to find the stat that works.
Just want to, you know, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. That's what I always say. So
It helps
we are,
because he's played the most games of all players. He's played for longer than any other player, so it's likely to be true.
I will say, if LYON were to lose a game with Olaf, Cassio, and Syndra, and Inspired was here, this is the kind of draft he would make them play the next game. He's like,
true.
you know what? Berserker, back to a hyper carry. Saint, you're scaling. Chill out. Double shields for our Yunara. We're going
true.
late, and we're team fighting.
Berserker couldn't carry on Cassio. None of these silly mages, this Cassio, this Jace stuff. I love it, what LYON has done. Back to the problem at hand. Jhin priority has been rising around the world, and I've always loved Jhin with Rumble, and then a mage in the mid lane that can do a lot of damage. They'll need to find a little bit more physical damage, which will likely come from the jungle. They'll never run triple AP, and then they're just completely fine. I just love those combo of champions.
Yeah, it's very, very strong. They definitely are looking for some of that CC. I'm thinking of like Rahel ban, you know, champions along those lines, Nautilus ban, you know, things that are you know, easy, point and click, CC, set up for the Jhin, set up for the Deadly Flourish, set up for the Equalizer, as well as the Chaos Storm coming through from Viktor. So, you know, you're expecting those bans on that side, and then on the other side for Sentinels, you're expecting protection bans for Impact in this top lane matchup, and K'Zix going to be taken away. Tanks generally are the answer to Rumble these days, unless people want to get really spicy. You know, we'll see if there are going to be additional tank bans, but really it just feels like the other tanks have all kind of fallen out of the meta besides K'Zix in a lot of ways. So
They really have. We don't see Sion or Ornn hardly
much.
ever.
Yeah.
We were seeing a lot of like Galio and Ornn into Rumble 6 months to a year ago, but that's definitely fallen behind. Just the pace of the game has gotten so fast in a lot of these cases, not to mention when you do have mage bot lanes, having that tank top lane makes your comp not work. Now, not going to be a problem here with the Yunara Lulu, so maybe there is a world where he can play a tank with the K'Zix band.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. They do ban out that Wukong in one of those good physical damage engage junglers. They want to take away from Armao because, of course, LYON needs engage as well. It is not just Sentinels. You can play fully to just kite, and that missing ban, of course, is intentional. As we said, that was the punishment for the delay of game, so we will never know if they wanted to ban something like the Rel. The Karma does surprise me quite a lot. They are going to be playing heavily for that 2v2. I did really think it was going to be hard engage, Rahel, Nautilus, whatever.
Yeah.
And they were going to play that style, but now they are severely lacking on lockdown and engage, but they do have a much stronger 2v2, so they have to make the most of that.
This is the most throwback draft. Like, we need to scale. After not being able to close the giant gold lead ever, they are doing the Ornn into the Rumble.
This is like the TSM, when TSM got the playoffs draft, you know? It's like, all right, guys, that Casio bot, that Olaf top, that's a privilege, and you can lose it by losing a game.
It's also 2018 TL draft with double lift, right? It just if Impact was Dhokla, that's what would be happening.
Basically every roster with double lift. When as soon as they lost the game in playoffs, all right, guys, I think we should play carry bot and tank top.
Yeah, you're in draft. It's like, what should I pick top lane? I could go Jace, or I think Ornn looks good.
Yeah.
I think Maokai looks good.
Maokai jungle's looking nice here, too.
Yeah, and a Trundle. Holy moly. The Trundle would have been a great pick for HamBak, so it's a good takeaway. But this is so slow for LYON. This team comp is so ridiculously slow. If he just locks Qiyana here, I feel like that's so good into the Trundle and would combo with the Rumble. He had an insane Qiyana performance in week 1.
Yeah, it would be pretty exciting. That is kind of that old school combo.
Okay, Kha'Zix instead. Just some assassin jungler.
Okay, wow. He actually locked the Kha'Zix. That is insane. That is some crazy behavior. In my view, you are solo dive against a Lulu and you're going to lock Kha'Zix? You are getting polymorph, brother.
I thought he was going to go Qiyana, but, you know, he's feeling the Kha'Zix. He's looking at the Trundle and Ornn and saying, I can go Kha'Zix here. Maybe he's not looking at the Lulu.
Yeah.
He's a little less at the Lulu.
I mean, you can probably win the duel against the Trundle if you get the jump for sure. But that is going to be difficult to actually deal with polymorph, I think.
Remember when we were talking about Impact's Kled win rate? He's now 4-6 on Kled, and I made the statement that he's the best player in the world when he's down 30 CS or more 15. Not quite. Leo found the stats so fast. So Impact has the 3rd best win percentage. 63%, by the way, when down 30 CS or more at 15 minutes. That's insane. But minimum 10 games played. There are some people in Twitch chat that called this correctly.
I love the people that are ahead of them.
Dyrus and Danny have an 80% win rate when down 30 CS at 15.
That was the Dyrus Classic.
That's crazy.
That was the TSM meme for so many years. It's just like Camp Dyrus, everyone sends too much to Dyrus, then they'd win. And Danny was just like the chosen one in team fights. This guy actually was just Neo in team fights. It didn't matter what the early game happened at all. He'd just show up to a 5v5 and they could be down 5K and you were watching Danny, you're like, I think they win here.
I think Leo's, if he increased the minimum number of games to like 30, Impact is #1 again. But I like the call. I bet you that was 10 games that Dyrus was down 30 CS or more.
Impact does have more games than Danny.
It's way more to Impact.
We need to fudge the numbers even more. Quick.
I'm happy with that. You can close this book.
This is quite the scaling comp for LYON. I would say they outscale in all 5 roles. Viktor Ori is probably arguable, but yeah, I like their scaling in literally all 5 roles. They do have an incredibly strong team fight. Kha'Zix is a banger, and I will say, I like when teams take risks, when you are up against a favorite team, when you are the underdogs. It's time to go for some stuff, and congratulations to huhi. We were just talking about double lift. Double lift, it's time to unretire, buddy, because huhi just passed you. 329 career LCS game wins. Passing double lift for 5th all time.
Apparently a bunch of people have been talking double lift lately about if he's going to come back, which is really funny. He did the retirement home tournament. He played in the League Classic show match. Not to mention...
That's how you get prepared for LCS.
And huhi never gives up. They brought this back as well. This was an old graphic for when they were super far behind against Cloud9. And in comms, he's like, guys, it's a one-fight game. Boom! Back to victory. That just happened. He didn't hear no bell.
This was, yeah, exactly from last split. They were... This team that had been able to make some crazy comebacks happen. And again, they do last game. They were down, I want to say 5-6K, and they lost Soul. And that is a wild game to win against an undefeated team in LYON. And DARKWINGS is clapping Sane up right now in that 1v1. The CS pretty even, but those trades are going heavily in DARKWINGS' favor. And
it's probably really nice for Sentinels to have this comeback win, because I'd say last week against Shopify, they kind of had the opposite, where they were ahead and couldn't close that game as Armao's going in. And this was the game that they had last week against Shopify, game 3. They're ahead. Contracts just walked up and took Baron, and then they lost the series off of that. If that happens, they're 2-1, feeling a lot different about their season right now, and they need to be able to turn it around here against LYON. Yeah, this was crazy Baron steal. Under Nocturnal just walked up.
What you're telling me is that Sentinels are the impact of teams. They need to be behind. to become more powerful, you know? The critical error in that game was not the steal. It was being ahead in the first place.
It's true. I got an update that Liam cherry-picked my stat request to make my statement wrong because he did minimum 10 games. Huhi and Dyrus and Danny had only been down 30 CS in 10 games. If you make minimum games 11, #1 is Impact again.
But I like that he included Danny and Dyrus because it's a fun throwback.
It's a really fun fact.
Ooh, HamBak already at level 4 here. Going to just hop over the pillow, and Armao has got to leave. That is not your scuttle, brother. And he is going to have to retreat back up towards the Krugs. But Kha'Zix is just going to keep chasing him. And this is one of the difficulties when you do pick 3 losing lanes and all this scaling.
Yeah.
Well, the jungler's going to be in your face.
These drafts usually are completely illegal. It's 3 losing lanes and a Trundle. It's just so much pain in the early game, but if you win one team fight on like 3rd Drake, you just auto win the game. So it's one of those like, do you have the discipline to not take risks while not ceding way too much that it becomes unwinnable? And then on the side of Sentinels, like the pressure is absolutely on them to take the correct risks, because one failed dive, one overreach can also do the same thing as what a 3rd Drake fight would do.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I feel like in these games, stacking dragons early is the name of the game for Sentinels, right? That is the way you put pressure on a scaling comp.
Yeah.
If you allow LYON to get 1 random early dragon, then all of a sudden that 3rd Drake comes too late, right? And the threat of soul comes too late. They're often on their items and they can win. And I will say, while it is very difficult to pull off that style, LYON, I think, is the team that, you know, over the last year with Inspired has been the best in the league at playing that style. You know, they were famous in Split 2, you know, and in Split 1 even, for being a team that traded, you know, you take Dragon, well, we take top tower, we take a plate, and we extend that gold lead, then we show up to the fight and we nail it. And again, Impact here is struggling in the 1v1 early against Dhokla, does lose his flash.
He got greeted a little bit, realized that that was a kill angle if he gets hit by that charge, and had to flash away. Still hasn't based, sitting on his TP. Also, HamBak pathing down, probably for this early Drake. Interesting, he didn't do the Gromp. Instead, I mean, he would have to wait 40 seconds if he wanted to get the extra treat to get his empowered smite. So I think he's just going to clear these grubbies really quick and then not go for the upgraded smite scuttle play.
Yeah, I'm not going to go for that yet for sure. But we will see where he heads after, we're assuming a recall, but Berserker going to be going forward. He's just looking for Rahel. Rahel has already used his barrier. The barrier used by Berserker flashes forward. Can't finish him off, but now HamBak is here and he has his flash. Flash in, first blood for the Kha'Zix. And that is an out of mana Lulu. Gonna have to flash to safety. Barely avoids the Kha'Zix W, but does not avoid the deadly flourish from Rahel. It's 2 kills for Sentinels. They're up 2,000 gold in 5 minutes.
Just like that, CS advantage. Top, jungle, mid, bot, support, and 2-0 on the scoreboard. It's the start they need for a comp like this. But I will say, like, he did that investment. It's going to delay the Drakes a little bit. This was close. Berserker saw it in his eyes. Nice match flash there by Rahel. Nice match flash by Huhi. Then no barrier, no flash, no heal. Makes it an incredibly easy gank for HamBak, who arrives in the nick of time. And then right here, line it up. He's against the wall. And I think he was waiting for the cooldown. Blind shot. Wow. Nicely done.
Tags him and does get that double. And Golden Lou is pumped up. That is huge for them. And Sentinels, you know, they are in a position where they need every win to be able to secure themselves a spot in playoffs. They're by no means guaranteed. Lost a critical match against Shopify, and as a result, they put themselves in a bit more of a difficult position. And their next opponents here that they have coming up, it's going to be some really important games as alts are traded back and forth. They have FlyQuest, DSG, and C9. So not the easiest opponents remaining either. You know, DSG maybe an expected win, but Fly and C9 are going to be tough. And if you win here, that puts you in a much better spot. You know, 3 wins should get you to playoffs. So if they win this, they really just have to beat DSG, and they're very likely in playoffs. You know, maybe not mathematically locked or anything like that, but good chance. But if they lose this, then you've got to at least beat probably, you know, the FlyQuest or C9.
And FlyQuest, DSG are both next week because they're not going to be going to Mexico City, so they're playing their extra game next week as well. And having the momentum of a win against LYON would be huge. While we were talking about the strength of schedule, since Armao had used Smite on the Scuttle Crab, he didn't have Smite. HamBak could just do the invade, steal a couple additional camps away. But it is potentially questionable. After that steal, I think they probably could have taken a Drake. It's still up. We're talking about putting the soul pressure onto LYON. 7.5 minutes, still not the first Drake. Some small things going well for LYON in that case.
Yeah, not going to be able to get that early drag.
Is that hit? Oh, no.
Ooh, just barely out of range, but Isles does get tagged by that fourth shot of the ultimate, and it's super low. As is Berserker, and huhi and Rahel are just punishing them after that early gank from HamBak. It looked like they had a window where they might have been able to potentially get a kill. Armao also spotted out here, and HamBak is going to be there for the counter gank. Ulti going to get popped by Dhokla. He's going to redirect it onto the Kha'Zix just to try to get out, but Berserker is going to root it up. Tries to turn around. There's the polymorph over on Rahel. They're looking to burst him down. The shield comes back up, but it doesn't matter. Berserker is surviving. Berserker gets us another shield and a double from such a disadvantageous position. LYON's bot lane makes magic happen.
They had barrier heal back up, and Rahel and huhi just ran out of damage. Didn't even have the level 6 Lulu ultimate, but it was still enough through the Lulu E, the heal, and the barrier to just out-damage them. That is so big for them to scale into the late game, especially with no Drake taken yet.
And it's so impressive to be able to see that angle. They were actually way down on HP, and they just recognized, hey, you went too far. You're going to get polymorphed. I have way more consistent DPS. You go in with the ult, you chase him down, and they punish that play. And now Saint in trouble. 3 members here, catches the wild growth, has to flash out anyway. Armao in the area. Sentinels with a good punish there on a pretty dangerously placed TP from Saint.
Yeah.
Which I always feel like those TPs are kind of silly because really it saves you like a second. You could just TP to the tower and then that never happens.
I completely agree. There's also that one time, though, they TP to the tower, they lose 1 minion, they don't hit level 6 first, they die, they're like, I gotta get the experience. Yeah. But in this case...
The risk versus war just never seems good to me.
It's not. His condition was better than DARKWINGS, though, which means DARKWINGS does have to TP back as well, and the Dragon lives. 9 minutes, 30 seconds, still no Drake pressure, and if you say, okay, you get right side comp, left side comp, 9.5 minutes in, your 80 carries 500 gold up, but your team is 1,000 gold down, you take those.
Yep, you take right side comp for sure. And I think, you know, after that early couple kills, you're like, ah, that's okay. They're up a couple thousand gold, so here it is one more time.
I mean, so Rahel has 4th shot, but then he takes a long time to re-roll, is polymorphed. Look how long it takes for him to get any ammo back. So it's just a poor calculation by Rahel to take that all in, and really smart by Berserker and Isles to say, like, if we just shield heal the 4th shot.
So bad and lucky.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
Bad and lucky, the classic. That's a very common phrase for LCS pros whenever something goes well for them, to say you're lucky and bad.
It is funny. But I got to give so much credit to Berserker and Isles. I don't even feel like I can criticize Rahel and huhi there, because I feel like almost no one looks for that all-in angle.
I guess, yeah.
Berserker was at 20% HP before the heal came in, and he's like, nope, you're dead. And just, you use the 4 shot, there's the reload, there's the polymorph, there's the heal, the barrier, the consistent DPS, and they calculated it out just right. And for me, that is perfect champion mastery. Like, that is such an understanding of a matchup like this that almost everyone gets chunked low there and just bases.
And they're getting the first Drake.
Now it's a little tough.
It's feeling like Inspired Spirit is in this game, even if Inspired is not.
And HamBak is
scaling and taking it slow.
That big gold lead, and that still exists. That's still nice, but again, you are going to have to deal with the polymorph potentially later on. Dhokla getting put pretty low. Of course, you do have the ult, you have the invisibility to try to make the life difficult for Isles, but the problem is Isles is an incredible Lulu, and what's going to happen is anytime you jump forward, you're going to get wild growth while you're in the air, and then you're going to get polymorphed out of it, and you can't really react to that. So unless you stealth in like this, it can be tough. Dhokla going to get taken down, though. HamBak, 2,000 gold ahead of his counterpart now, has used this matchup really well. He is up almost 2 entire levels, and will be up 2 full levels after he takes this camp, as Armao is close to 8, but HamBak's almost 10.
It's interesting. If this beast of a Kha'Zix is in your solo queue game and he's starting 31 CS up and 2 kills, I feel like you think he's going to carry the game. But in organized play with LYON tier team fighting, I think it's going to be a lot harder. HamBak has not prioritized objective control, instead prioritized the objective of getting himself gold and we'll see if he's able to carry this game, because that's the position he's put himself in.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I completely agree, right? If this is solo queue, the Kha'Zix is probably one-shotting your Yunara, and then you're FFing, right?
Because at some point he finds him in a side lane, he's dead.
Yep. And Saint might be getting one shot right here, as there's the jump in. Nice shockwave to peel for himself, but Saint has no flash from that earlier look towards mid. DARKWINGS grabs the kill, but it's set up very well by HamBak and huhi. But again, as you're saying, in organized play, it's so different. The coordination in the CC can make it so tough. If you jump in Wild Growth, into Polymorph, into Ornn knockup, into you know, all of these tools, you might just die before you do anything, because Kha'Zix is not a tanky champ, but we are up to a 3.6k gold lead. So despite that double kill down on the bot side, the gold lead went from over 2k down to 1500 and then back up to 3500.
I can gank.
Yeah.
He's no flash.
Low chance, Yunara can open mid.
Yeah, he's dead. Nice.
Yeah, nice gank there, but as we were talking about how LYON is scaling, like, it really just, the gold lead ballooned, and it's because it all started with the top play. So HamBak had essentially full cleared his jungle, ran top, killed Dhokla, but then as that happened is when Armao was arriving to his top side. So Armao had to seed all of his top side camps to the Kha'Zix, then mid lane dies. So it wasn't just HamBak running around and getting kills, it was the entire top side of LYON also not getting gold during that time period. And it's really blown this game open. This would be unplayable if not for the 2 kills on Berserker.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's still a very, very difficult position. I mean, Dhokla lost plates as well off of getting killed there, and now huhi is back towards top side again. Sentinels doing a good job pushing this game forward, and Armao has been completely stifled. He is just hitting level 9 as he soaks some lane experience from the minions, but HamBak is already level 11 and going to be close to that second item, 2.5k ahead. He's going for lethality items, so he is going to be a real problem. But they're going to try to rush down this tower, get first tower gold, which would be a boon for LYON. Trundle, one of the best champions of the game at actually killing towers with the W attack speed plus the Chomp working on it. And they do beat out Impact and claim that first tower. Well, Dokla's just playing safe, knowing Kha'Zix is up there. He's having to give up even more minions, so Dhokla is getting starved pretty heavily as a result.
No
could be tough.
Really.
Here comes HamBak again. He does that flash, but I don't know if it matters. There's the flash, but the flash response is available from HamBak. Finds Saint again in the mid lane, and he is dead. It's nearly a 3,000 gold lead for the Kha'Zix.
And he's just going to continue to run around the map here.
The Deadly Flourish does connect there. Isles trying to dodge these shots.
HamBak
is coming, and he is spotted. Armao there trying to buy some time. Does pillar out HamBak.
Oh my god.
But they're going to have to give up the bot lane tower. They're going to have to give up jungle camps. This is just completely out of control. Sentinels are stomping LYON.
It's the camps, to me. Armao is still sitting on his hatchling. He hasn't hatched his smite yet. We're 15 minutes into the game.
He's 3 full levels down. That is crazy.
Objective bounties are available soon. That's good for LYON. Because, you know, a few little bounties here and there, little slingshot effect, but my goodness. They are smashing this right now.
So this is one more time. This is Berserker was going for DARKWINGS. That was the trade of flashes that was off screen. Berserker might have had him, but the flash response was there, of course, and that does let him get away. And HamBak just had a monster buy as well. He had the pieces of Cyclosword, buys Cyclosword, plus another serrated Dirk. huhi, though, could be in a little trouble, does have the flash, and is not afraid whatsoever, as Berserker is missing flash and ulti. So that's going to make it tough for him to follow up.
My goodness, 52 CS advantage in the jungle. HamBak now getting the Drake because he 2-shots it with his 2.5 full lethality items. It's still going to be that waiting game. At this point, you're kind of just hunting bounties, as DARKWINGS does have one and no flash.
Yep, no flash, and I don't think you're getting out of this one. The pillar is still there and available. Armao gets 600 gold for his troubles, visits that top side, and they are going to have still a lot of time to chill and scale, because Sentinels took no early dragons. That was their first dragon of the game here at 16 minutes. So as long as LYON don't keep chain dying, they do still have some real chances here, but Armao going to get stealthed on, and HamBak jumps in, flash away, but there is the leap in from HamBak, asserting his dominance as Dhokla has got a TP back to base.
Yeah. Oh, wait, the Kha'Zix is behind me. I want none of this smoke. Just get me out immediately. HamBak has lived in the jungle of Armao. This is a very difficult game for him to survive in, but he has a 2-item Yunara and kind of nothing else. Everything else he needs to play around. This is all on Berserker Isles, it really feels like.
What you're telling me is they might need a little more gas. So they should go to the Gas South
Okay.
Arena in Atlanta, Georgia from October 3rd to 4th. Tickets are on sale. I said LYON was going to be there. Wasn't a very hot take before. Still don't think it is, but it's maybe slightly hotter. And I still believe we will see them, even though they're struggling in this series.
That's true. All gas, no brakes for HamBak this game, for sure.
Sometimes the problem with that is when you don't have brakes, there's a wall in front of you. Sometimes you run right into it and you die, which could happen in one team fight here for LYON. They got a lot of time to scale. They are grouping up, they are pushing in, and they are still getting a lot of farm on their carries, 10 CS per minute for Saint, and above that for Berserker. So they have their gold, and they are going to be protected here by Isles.
They really will be. I need to check on this. I need to check on the gold. Berserker's pretty rich, right? You're not noticing it because Rahel's got a lot of gold as well, but 8.4 total K. 10K gold on Kha'Zix, still very impressive. And then early on in the game, DARKWINGS and Impact, mostly just lane damage. We haven't really seen the team fighting start.
Yeah, I mean, his teammates are poor boys, but Dhokla is scaling. He just hit 13.
The
so
Ornn
just
upgrades don't show up on the objective bounties either.
Exactly. He just got that first Ornn upgrade. And so every level coming in now, he's going to be having those upgraded items for his team, which is an additional 1K or so in stats. So is pretty powerful in and of itself. And that is where things can get difficult as the game just slows down. And LYON can give up this dragon, and honestly, they can even give up the next dragon if they feel like it's that difficult of a situation, which is going to buy them a ton of time. But Herald's going to be dropped here. Pillar will be there to answer it, so a bit of a bold drop as Armao should be able to block this out. Impact coming on the side, though, and potentially looking to set up a dive, but doesn't really feel like there's an angle.
Yeah, Herald has been stuffed. With HamBak at 60% health, it's an ambitious one.
Yeah, the curtains are going to get called. The equalizer is dropped. They are getting this tower low. Might eventually do take it down. DARKWINGS gets shockwave there by Saint. Put low. HamBak is low as well. Armao trying to set up his team. 4-shot used there as huhi gets poked out. And now Dhokla arrives, and Impact is on the wrong side of the map here, trying to run away. Going to call the Ornn horn down. Does get the knockup, but HamBak is there. The rest of the team isn't really with him to follow up, so it's kind of much ado about nothing, as it is that ult traded out, but not going to be able to get the kill. They do defend their mid lane tower, though, and keep that gold about where it was.
I think that was just a nice defense overall by LYON. Anytime they can work through kind of a full cycle of ultimates from Sentinels, Curtain Call, and Equalizer both being used, not even lose their turret, also absorb the Rift Herald, and then they still move to catch their waves. They didn't lose a huge number of minions on either the top or the bot lane. All they need to do to buy that time.
Yep, just keep on scaling. Third item, though, comes through here for HamBak. Edge Knight now completed. Impact working in towards that Zonia, so he's going to have that up and available. Rahel did go for the Ghost Blade, now has that Collector, and you can see Berserker probably going in for his next item here. We'll see where he wants to go for it, but does have a BF in inventory and does have that Ardent Sensor Lulu to buff him up, so he's, of course, even stronger than he's showing, and you're expecting the Dhokla will give him his first upgrade here that he's going to have ready in another wave or two as he hits 14.
For sure, and I'm seeing some of these comments. Bit of a jungle gap, jungle diff. In defense of Armao, you got 3 losing lanes, you got blind picked Trundle, and then the other jungler went full solo queue, ignored objectives, and played Kha'Zix to play for your camps. So it's kind of what happens. I think it's very difficult to actually play Trundle in this game. It's just about, he's only died once. Can he still keep his head, not die additional times, and be there to help heal his Yunara in teamfights? That's Armao's job in this game.
Yeah, completely agree. It's a very difficult position to be in. Even if you have a decent jungle matchup, if you have 3 losing lanes, it is very hard to play the game, and at pro level, even more so. And then he has a horrible 1v1 matchup against this Kha'Zix, and HamBak has played it really, really well. I think he's excellent at this sort of style. HamBak does just go in, playing with fire a little bit, shoots at the Void Spikes, and then just leaps back to safety. But of course has his flash available, has the ulti for the invis available, so it's not really an angle there for LYON to go in, and I think this dragon will just be seeded as they continue to play the side lanes. Grab as much farm as possible, grab as much experience as possible, as the equalizer are going to get dropped, and Isles forced to flash. Curtain's going to get called, tries to sidestep, sidesteps the first, and now is going to get blocked up here by Berserker and Armao. They will take the mid lane tier 1. Armao potentially in some trouble. Drops the pillar. Might have to flash out. Definitely has to flash out. Dhokla coming back in. Stasis going to be used there by Impact as the teleport is now coming in from Saint. Saint arrives here. Can't really find much of anything. Again, it is just about buying time, but the gold lead extends ever so slightly above 6K.
And one Drake closer to Soul Point as HamBak picked that up at the start. Armao's flash literally came off cooldown. I would actually imagine that Sentinels was probably calling no flash Trundle, thinking that that was going to be a kill before he was able to flash to safety. And then Saint, weirdly enough, probably just wants that teleport back, because I don't think that play was going to continue, and he could have continued to collect plates on the top side for himself. Yeah,
absolutely agree. Maybe thought that they were going to be overcommitting, you know, looking for a dive, and you're kind of picturing yourself TPing in, hitting a shockwave and turning it, but either way, you know, they do get that TP off of Saint here, and they do have just one TP apiece available. Both those top laners do have theirs up and available, and even though Impact did use his stasis, it was the Broken Seekers, and now he upgrades towards that Zhonya, so his Zhonyas will be good to go once again.
Yeah, slightly defensive build going Zhonya's second rather than third, but doesn't want to give over a bounty, I would imagine.
Oh, here comes Dhokla, probably looking for that upgraded Infinity Edge. Berserker did complete that.
Yeah.
Dhokla just got 14, so I'm assuming he is going to put all the eggs in the Berserker basket where they belong, but it's going to get interrupted, and out comes the Equalizer. Dhokla has the steering charge away to safety, so that will get interrupted, and he will have to try once more to upgrade that Ornn item.
Yeah. Ask Berserker, did you put it in the right slot? Slot 1? Yes, okay. Upgrade.
There you go.
And they got it. They did it successfully. Mechanic executed. 103 attack damage from the Super Infinity Edge.
Yeah, it's a lot of extra stats here, extra AD, as the Kha'Zix going to get found on the side. HamBak has got to jump to safety, shielded up there by huhi. Rahel with the 4th shot ready, but no angle to really use it. As Impact pushed out bot lane, the lanes are pushing in the favor of Sentinels, and you can see that reflected in the gold again. It was 5K for a long time, broke 6K. We're now almost at 7,000 here as Impact's lead is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Dhokla is just kind of chain grouping, can't really play through sides very much, and that is meaning this top lane advantage is there right alongside that jungle lead.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the whole lead.
That's pretty much the whole lead is the Rumble and the Kha'Zix. And it's pretty hard at 24 minutes into the game to look at the jungler who's 4-0, 80 CS up, and 4,000 gold ahead and say, you know, maybe could have played better. But if you're focusing Drake's, Soul is coming up in like a minute. Whereas now we're 7 minutes away, and by 31 minutes, Berserker's probably 4 items. I think everyone has their ornaments. It feels like it's still going to be difficult for that. But I'd also say, like, HamBak probably isn't 4,000 gold up if he focuses the dragon. So it's a chicken or the egg thing right here. He's obviously played this game very well. But if Sentinels lose this game, I think they'll look back and say, okay, how could we have pressured Soul faster?
I think that's one of the most difficult things in League is when every play you do works, but you lose the game. Being able to evaluate, you know, was this the correct run of play? Because his invades were incredibly successful, right?
He's been so good.
And have worked really, really well. But it's true. If, you know, if they lose and Soul's too late and it bought too much time, well, maybe that was the wrong choice. It's really hard to know, though, because we'd be in a world where Armao probably has way more gold and is way more relevant if he wasn't put so far down. So it's always interesting. HamBak again on the sides with the upgraded spike racks, just harassing them. Equalizer comes down. Curtain call as well. Dhokla there to block the shots. Saint takes one to the back of the head, but Dhokla blocking up most of that. And this is just buying time for DARKWINGS, pushing on that top side, collecting plates. They are now 7.6K ahead. Ornaments or not, this gold lead is getting worse and worse and worse here for LYON. They're just group 5 trying to force. And now there is no equalizer, there is no curtain call, and huhi is in some trouble. huhi's going to get jumped up. Berserker flashes forward. Rahel is going to get knocked down as well. That's 2 quick kills going their way. And now they're trying to dive onto DARKWINGS. DARKWINGS incredibly low, does fall. Dhokla and Saint survive. It is 4-0, down 8K gold for LYON.
Bounties for everyone, but mainly Berserker playing that perfectly. An absolute psychopath flies through the turret to kill Rahel and huhi, and then even after DARKWINGS teleports in, Berserker still lives. They collect all the bounties and are probably getting this Drake.
Impact has Equalizer. He just came back up, and he's going to drop it. He is level 16, but I don't think there's a real angle in. Trying to be as annoying as possible, but you are 1v5. That is Baron. That is 5,000 nearly, taking off the gold lead. And that is this game maybe slipping out of Sentinel's grasp.
Unbelievable fight there by LYON. Sentinels, with their big lead, was trying to split push. So DARKWINGS is top. And then LYON says, okay, once we see Kha'Zix clear that ward, you don't have enough damage at the turret. So we're just going to run in and kill you before HamBak can actually make his approach. Rahel and huhi dead. Then the teleport arrives, and that's when HamBak tries to get in right onto a shockwave. Saint gets him, gets the full shutdown for his own Orianna, and they're first on this Drake. So Soul would be delayed until at least 37 minutes after LYON has that. That is all the time in the world for Berserker to keep getting items.
And they already have 3 ornaments that have come through, and I feel like they've already been outscaled at this point off that one lost fight. I mean, it was really well played by LYON. They were hard forcing, and Sentinels didn't respect it. You know, not only is it the Kha'Zix on the side that you pointed out, which is a really big deal, but it's also the fact that you spent Equalizer and Curtain Call and everything on the previous wave. And LYON spent nothing. They just walked away from it and then say, okay, great. You use your 2 most powerful teamfight ults.
Yep.
And you still are 4v5. We're just going to dive you.
Yeah, we're not
a
that
true
weak.
tank with Ornn. Ornn can just tank up the tower. Trundle can take up the tower. They don't care at all. And so that was really well played. I mean, Dhokla just marks the Kha'Zix on the side, CCs him, Saint catches him with the shockwave, and now it is a 4,000 gold lead for Kha'Zix, who looks like he might be heading towards a defeat screen. We'll see if he can turn things around. Huhi's going to get caught out, but will be peeled for by the rest of the squad as Saint knocks down that top lane tier 1. Gold lead down to nearly only 3K. It is 2 dragons apiece. And with those ornaments that are through, it feels like LYON are equal, if not ahead in power, but there is always that chance. You know, if Kha'Zix can one-shot the Yunara, hey, you can win the game, but that is going to be really hard to pull off.
Yeah, and you can see it's not like LYON has won a bunch of team fights. They've really picked their moments, but it's been really for LYON like pure defense and then 2 moments of aggression. It was in the bot lane when Berserker and Isles got the 2v2 kill when Rahel and huhi stepped up with Fort Shot, but they had heal barrier back and decided to all in. And it was that moment when they stepped up to the turret with Equalizer being down and went to all in. I think the bigger thing that we haven't talked about is DARKWINGS was pretty far ahead of Saint, but Saint got the Kha'Zix shut down as well as that mid turret, and now it's not just the Yunara. The Orianna has also scaled, which really puts LYON in a good spot.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And this Ornn, behind gold or not, is not that easy to kill, right? You know, you do have the LDR done for Rahel, but he went Ghostblade Collector into LDR, so it's not like you are a tank-killing build. This is not Hex Optics, LDR, IE 3 items. This is a 3 items that just doesn't really hurt this tanky front line, and you can see they're just kind of shrugging off a lot of the damage here. Great shockwave, pulls him out of the air. Beautiful by Saint. HamBak flashes, but there is the follow. Berserker comes in the side, goes on a rampage as huhi is gonna fall as well. LYON roar to life. White Sentinels off the map, and we'll see if they just want to push to end the game.
That's no Baron, but I mean, they have 5 versus 2 and a cannon wave. It's hard to imagine Impact Rahel holding up another wave on the way as well.
And no Equalizer here for Impact, so this is going to be so hard to hold on. Sentinels felt like they were in control for 95% of this game, but the polymorph is there. Another kill goes to Berserker. Dhokla is just laughing in Rahel's face, flashes in on him, forces the flash out. Berserker flashing in, looking for another kill. Can't quite get it, but does get the Nexus. It's a big comeback from LYON as they showcase their talent in the team fight and send us to game 3.
Cheeky smile by Armao. I gotta say, they got the delay of game penalty in game 1. They delayed game 2 as well. They were practicing lounge. What do you think of that?
I think delay to win is the name of the game right there. They didn't need that extra ban.
Yeah, no.
They didn't need a gold lead.
I did love the Rhett Vern to like hyper carries for Berserker.
Yep.
This is what he's been doing his entire career.